Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So Peter King of NBC Sports has his weekly column, right, where he talks about different teams and whatnot, and in this week's edition, he actually went on to talk a little bit about the NFL draft, and he listed a couple notable draft nuggets for a couple teams, right? Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans, San Francisco 49ers, New York Giants, and the New York Jets, okay? Now, I felt like the part with the Jets here was pretty interesting, and I'm going to read it word for word. He starts by saying, I think now that the compensatory picks have been set and the draft order has officially been released by the NFL, here are a few notable draft nuggets. And then in regards to the New York Jets down below, he says, the Jets with 4 picks in the top 40 would also love to put one of them off until next year if the right offer comes. Okay, now, is this completely groundbreaking stuff, right? I would say no, because reading the tea leaves, understanding how Joe Douglas likes to operate, how he approaches free agency, he doesn't strike me as a reckless individual. In fact, he almost has more so a conservative take like on his draft assets, on his players, and how he wants to build his team. He is definitely going to be going the slower way as opposed to the fast, quick LA Rams style. And it wouldn't and we've seen Joe Douglas trade back before, and we've also seen him trade up to go get his guy in Elijah Vera Tucker, but even in the Denzel Mims situation, we've seen him maneuver back in the second round, and then in the later round picks, I mean, it's not really, too out of the ordinary to see a general manager trade back and trade up, but he has had a lot of movement in the back end of NFL drafts. So I'm looking at this news right here, or I shouldn't say news, but I guess this rumor, however you want to call it, from Peter King, and thinking about the possibility of a New York Jets trade back situation, I would like it in one scenario, but the other 3 scenarios here, again, according to Peter King, he was talking about the first 4 picks in the top 40. I think I would be okay with moving back with the 10th overall pick. And what I mean is by going from spot number 10 to a later position in the draft, and then acquiring a first-round pick in next year's class. I would be okay with it because we have the 4th pick. We're keeping another first-round pick in this year, whether we're moving down to 20, 25, something like that, and we still have our second-round picks. Think back to when the Buffalo Bills traded back with the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs came up to spot number 10 to select Patrick Mahomes. The Buffalo Bills moved all the way back to the late 20s. They selected Trey White, great overall selection there, and they got the Chiefs they got their first round pick in the following class. I would be okay with something like that because I'm looking at this Jets team. It is not complete. We still have a lot of holes. I really, really like what this team has done so far through free agency, with strong safety, with tight end, with backup quarterback, even, guard, interior offensive line. I love all that stuff, but we still have a couple question marks on the roster. It's just unrealistic to think that in free agency you can fill every single hole perfectly and build your team in one off season through one free agency period where you have roughly $50 million in space. So if the Jets find themselves in a situation like that where, I don't know, the Saints are calling you, they've identified Kenny Pickett as their franchise quarterback, they want to move up to spot number 10 to select him, they're willing to give us pick number 18 and a first round pick next year, awesome. I think I would accept that. I think I really would. Maybe it's the Steelers. Maybe they're not 100% bought in with Trubisky and they want to come up and select Malik Willis with the 10th overall pick. Okay, a pick in the early 20s, I'm cool with it. But when you talk about the 4th overall pick, that is extremely, extremely valuable. If a team is coming up for the 4th round pick, I don't want just 2 future picks. I need a lot. I need a lot in return to give up that 4th overall spot. Again, the Jets have a lot of needs. We really lack cornerstones of this football team, and there are going to be some awesome options on the board for the Jets at spot number 4. Whether you're into offensive line, whether you're into cornerback, safety, whoever, edge rusher, Kayvon Thibodeau might fall, whatever prospect you might have your eye on outside of Aiden Hutchinson, because he looks like he's a lock to go top 3, but I would say everybody else is somewhat in play. I mean, we've seen mocks, we've heard rumblings that Evan Neal might be there for the 4th pick, for the 5th pick, for the 6th pick. Charles Cross, Ike Mekwanu. Okay, so Aiden Hutchinson's really the only guy that I feel like will realistically not be there. And of course, some guys have higher odds than others to fall. But that 4th pick, like if I'm trading that away, I need to be blown away. absolutely blown away. I need picks. I need at least one moving back. At least I need one first round pick this year, and I need multiple future picks. Bottom line, I'm not moving back from 4 to 22 or 4 to 23 for, one future first round pick next year. Not doing it. It's not good enough. In regards to the second round picks, I actually feel really, really good about them. I want to keep them. I want to keep both of those selections, okay? Because I look at this draft and it's really deep in positions of need for the New York Jets. And I know you're not necessarily 100% drafting for need all the time, but I mean, think about some of the options that you could go get in round 2. Maybe a Jameson Williams, maybe a Jaquan Brisker, a Daxton Hill, Chris Olave. There are going to be some awesome players here. I think the Jets are in a great position right now. Okay, I look at the AFC, it's a stacked conference. The AFC West, all 4 of those teams can make deep playoff runs easily. We look at the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills are a Super Bowl contender, and they go out and they add Von Miller and OJ Howard. Miami, they're right on the cusp of making the playoffs with McDaniel coming in. And then the New England Patriots, I mean, we can never count them out. Think what you want about New England, as much as I don't like them, they are still a really good, really technically sound football team that can make a lot of noise. The AFC North, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Cincinnati was in the Super Bowl last season. Cleveland just added Deshaun Watson. You got Lamar Jackson coming back from Baltimore. Pittsburgh's a quarterback away. AFC South, little sketchy there, but I mean, overall, from top to bottom, the AFC is so much better, so much more competitive than the NFC. I want, like we cannot go through another season where the Jets get 3 wins, 2 wins, 4 wins. We have a young quarterback going into year 2. Let's give this guy some legitimate weapons. Let's get better on defense. We were the worst defense in football last year. Let's cash in on some of these draft picks instead of kicking the rebuilding can down the road. As much as I like draft picks, I love having multiple first round picks. I love it. It's an absolute luxury to have, but I don't want to keep pushing this thing off, keep pushing it off, and keep finishing last in the division. Like, let's rebuild this team. Let's add these guys. Let's add the firepower. Let's add the talent and get competitive. We have been losing for so long, and now this was the offseason. I fully believe this was the offseason to strike. We had all the money in cap space. As Peter King is, mentioning here, the 4 picks in the top 40. We have the 2 fourth-round picks, a high third-round pick. We have a lot in our favor here. Okay, so I really want us to cash in. Unless, of course, you get that offer that just absolutely blows you away. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What's your take on this? Would you like it if the Jets were to trade down? Would you prefer it? Do you want us to hang on to our picks? Do you want us to maybe trade up? Should be an interesting conversation. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.